Alright guys, welcome back to Pixel Perfect and the Photoshop beginner course. We are beginning now. Also, thank you very much for all the support shown on the channel and the videos so far. I'm really grateful. It helps the channel, and then it also encourages me as an individual to continue creating these stuff for you. Also, for those who partake in my Photoshop class, thank you for patronizing this course, and so I put it here for others to also enjoy. So anyway, the last time we just introduced everything, we introduced ourselves, and we are going right into it. So once you open Photoshop up, you should have this interface, but this is Adobe Photoshop since 2020. In case you are using earlier versions like 2018, it's going to look different. 2017, 2015, they're all going to look different, but no worry, it's about the same thing. For this particular video, we're going to learn about the interface. We're going to learn a few things about the interface, learn how to create and open files, learn the format in which we are able to save files for a particular purpose, and that's what we're going to be learning in this video. And so without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, we're going to create a file. We're going to create a new file. Let's say you want to create something for an Instagram post and you need to use Photoshop for that. So the first way of let's use creating a file. So one way of creating a file is, in fact, there's one way I know of creating a new file. Creating a new file, not opening a file. Okay, creating a document, creating a Photoshop document that you're gonna be able to work on. And so there's just one way I know. There are probably a ton of others out there, but there's just one way I know of creating a new file. There are several ways of opening a new file, but here we are going to create a new file. We are going to create a new Photoshop document, and so that's what we're going to do. So just hit the file up here on the menu bar, and you could go straight away to click new, or you could also use a shortcut here, Ctrl+N. And guys, if you want to work efficiently, fast, and then work like a pro, just get used to these shortcuts. Hold on. You realize that the shortcuts are on the right of every particular, not every particular, but the commands that have shortcuts. So if you want to know your file info, you simply hold down Shift Alt Control I. It gives you the detailed description of your file. Edit, if you want to undo, Control Z. If you want to redo, Shift Control Z. If you want to toggle the last state between, okay, we'll get into it, use Alt Control Z. And so it's like that. So first of all, we're going to just hit new, or we could just do Control N, and this interface shows up. If you're on earlier versions of Photoshop from 2018 and below, it's going to look different from this. This is new to 2020 and 2019. If you are using Photoshop in the future, if you're using Photoshop after 2020, check back in this channel. If this is an old video you're watching, there's probably, in fact, there is an updated tutorial on this, and so feel free to look it up for an update. And so this opens. This is for the first time. On this particular dialog box, we have our recent. These are recent files we've created, the dimensions of the recent files we've created. So we have this particular one at 7 by 5 inches. That is the width of 7 inches and a height of 5, not so big, but regular. We also have this one at 100 by 480 pixels, which is very small. We have this one 2000 by 2000, which was made by me. Over here we have our saved work. You can always find it here, the work you've saved, the projects and presets you've saved already. If you want to work on a photo, usually these are the dimensions. This landscape, 6 by 4 and 300 ppi. If you want to create something that you're going to print out, these are also templates you could use. So for a letter, for a legal document, for a tabloid, for A4, A6, A5, A3, guys, you know the rest. If you are going to do some art and illustration, so these are quite big canvas available. For some weird reason, I am most comfortable with 2000 by 2000 pixels. I feel it gives me control over everything. It's quite large, and then when you use it for screens, the quality at output is very good because it's large, and then the resolution too is also out. So guys, for web, so if you're also going to design for a web page, web, the most common web sizes, and then for large, medium, minimum, small, guys, for MacBook Pro 13 Retina, I don't know what that is. I don't use a MacBook, I use an HP, so I'm not an Apple user, by the way. So for mobile, for iPhone, for Microsoft phone, for guys, these are just templates, so you feel free to scroll through them. Let's say you also want to create a YouTube thumbnail. This is just a perfect size. 1920 by 1080, I think. No, 1280 by 720p. That is it for the YouTube thumbnail size YouTube video. So if you are learning graphic design for your YouTube channel, that is something you should take note of. But guys, we want to take full control. We want to decide what our file is going to look like, and so that is where we come to the preset details up here. So what are we going to name our file? The file we are creating, we want to create a post for Instagram, so we're going to name it as new Instagram. Now over here we decide on the width and on the height. Now if we take we decided that width should be 1000. In what units? The pixel. How do we measure 1000? In pixels, in inches, in centimeters, in millimeters, in points, in pickers, or as some others will pronounce it as spikers, or whatever. For as long as it gets the job done, who cares about the pronunciation? Well, I don't care. So let's get to it. This is free advice. If you're working on anything that's going to go on screen that you're not necessarily going to print, feel free to work with pixels. Maybe in case you're going to print it, but you are I don't know, for some strange reason you wanna leave the units in pixels, or you have a better understanding of pixels than inches. What I advise you do is to simply put down your dimensions in inches. Let me just drop this quick. In inches, let's say you want to work by 7 by 5 inches, drop it down in inches, select this, go to pixels. It's going to convert it from inches into pixels, and so you'd have that the resulting dimensions in units pixels is 2100 by 1500, and then that is just it. Now the next thing is the resolution. Now this is a really controversial issue. Graphic designers even still till date debating about. I haven't seen anything from the Adobe company that actually clarifies this issue. I haven't seen it. It's probably out there, but this is my view. This is my personal opinion. So first of all, let me tell you what people think. Some other people think that when you're working with pixels, this resolution doesn't really matter. But I disagree. But let me tell you why they think that doesn't matter. People think it doesn't matter because the unit here is in pixels. Okay, and so the resolution here says 300 pixels per inch. And so people feel even if this is one, it won't affect the quality, or it won't affect the details of your file, because you are using the units in pixels and not in inches. But then this is where they are wrong, because the computer actually understands your dimensions differently. These dimensions are for you to see and for the computer to use to help you, but the computer also understands that yes, 2000 pixels is the same as 6.667 inches. Okay, and so once you set the resolution at 300 pixels per inch, that means so for every inch there will be 300 pixels there. For every inch, let's say for every inch at the width there will be 300 pixels. You get it? And so 300, yeah. And so for instance, we are going to prove my theory here, which says that whether or not you are working with pixels, inches, pickers, whatever, always make sure your resolution is set to a good one, because it does affect your file. Because even though this is 2000 pixels, the computer would read it as 6.667 inches, and hence for every particular inch is going to throw in 300 pixels there. So at the end, how many pixels are we going to end up having? Someone do the math for me. 300 by 6.667, then whatever number you're going to have, that's what you're going to have. For instance, let's prove this theory by putting this on. For every inch we have 300, so let's put this on inches and say we have 1, and then so for every inch we're going to have 300 pixels. You see guys, see, so if we change this into pixels, we're going to have 300, which actually proves my theory that this actually works. Even though this is in pixels, it still converts pixels into inches and sets a resolution as that. So guys, always keep this at 300. I would say don't go below 200, even though if you look at this template it says 72 pixels per inch. Well, we have landscape, we can have a portrait for 2000 by 2000. Why? Because it's a square, so we just leave it on the default. Well, whatever. Now the color mode, guys, always set it to RGB color. Okay, always set it to RGB color. Excuse me, I'm coming. Something's not good. So guys, for the color mode, always set it to RGB color mode. Bitmap, no grayscale. I'm just gonna have the grays. So if you are designing for screen, so if you're designing for screen, always leave it on the RGB color. If you're designing for print, leave it on the CMYK color. Guys, we'll get into this very soon. I want to keep this video as short as possible, so I'm just going to run through some of the things. So as we continue in this series, we are going to actually learn a lot of things. When it comes to the color channel, anyway guys, I've forgotten what exactly what it's called, but guys, yeah, so for you beginning, I'll just leave this at 8-bit. I'll get to explain later on. Your background content, that's your background color. You could either decide to set it on white or black. I'm just going to choose white. For the advanced options, dot color mine is square pixels. Yes, of course, square pixels. We don't want anything else. And then pixels 200, 2000. And then you click create, and then your new file is created. We have it here, it's square for you. Nice and easy. Guys, this is Photoshop for the first time, I guess. Yeah, this is what it looks like. But in order that we are all on the same page, I'm just going to ask you to hit window, go to workspaces, hit essentials, go to the essentials panel, go to this button and click reset essentials, so that everything is reset as it comes in default, so that we're all on the same page. This is, don't worry, don't mind what I just did. Now we are actually all on the same page. Now I know looking at all this can be overwhelming sometimes, but it's really easy, guys. Nothing really intimidating here. Don't get intimidated. So just like any other application, we have our menu bar here with our menu options. All of these things affect your file in different ways. There are also some cool tools you could use there. Over here is your toolbar, and so this toolbar, it has a list of options for manipulating or using your tools. And so let's just take a quick example. I'm gonna do this real quick. You guys don't mind what I'm doing, I'm going to explain it very soon. Yeah. And so for instance, this is the move tool, and these are its options on the toolbar. Okay, so for instance, it has an option, it's called auto select. What auto select does is that it automatically, let me add another one so that you understand. Yeah, this is quite nice. Yeah guys, I'm gonna, that's so I'll just explain that error later on when we get into some troubleshooting stuff. Sometimes the data and the file does not match anyway. So guys, these are two images I had from Pixabay. I will leave a link in the description video so that you could also go get it. So what happens over here is that auto select allows you to automatically select the particular layer or the particular image or particular text, whatever it's called. They are all called layers. I'll just explain that these individuals are called layers. Anyway, this is a background layer. So what we do is that it allows you to automatically select the particular layer or image you click on. So if it were off, if it were not checked, and you click on this, guys, watch, try. I'm hitting on the image with the beach. It's not moving. Why? Because the layer selected is actually the girl. It's actually the girl, but I'm trying to move it. It won't move because there's no auto select. So what we can also do, if we click on the beach now, we are trying to move the girl, it won't move. The beach would rather move. But if we had auto select on, so whatever I click, it's going to select that one. This is very good for, you know, when you have very few elements on your canvas at a particular time. And so guys, that is it for the auto select. So that is one option on the toolbar for the move tool. So then another option is the show transform controls. The transform controls simply allow you transform any layer the way you want it. For instance, turning this girl up and down. But anyway, you could also expand, you know, all of these things. Just go back. So that's what a transform control does. Now if this is checked, it would show the transform controls for the layer that's selected. If for instance when we select this layer, see, it also shows the transform control. Basically that's it. We'll get into these guys time, so let's just make it quick. And then so that is how the toolbar works. These are for alignments. These are for alignments, and then we'll get to use them very soon. On the left here we have the tools. We'll get into the tools also quite shortly. Here are the tools, and for now the tools are grouped by function. Okay, for instance, when you come to the eraser tool over here, we have 3 separate tools boxed into one as the eraser tool. Gradient tool, when you right click, then you have 3 gradient tools boxed together as a gradient tool. Pen tool, we have about 6 tools for 6 yeah, and so that is it. Now on the right hand side we have your color, your swatches, your gradients, your patterns. Now these here are called the palettes, okay, like your color palettes and all of those. So if, excuse me, let me fix this. Now back to default. Now most of these things honestly you don't need, you can always access them from other aspects. So for instance, this here is color. If I want you to observe something between here and here, once you push the color here, see it's gone to white. Over here it will become white. That's the foreground color and the background color. I'm going to explain that shortly. And then push to red, it's red. You brought down to kind of sea blue, yeah, it's still sea blue, to yellow. So with this we could swatches. We don't need swatch. Okay, look, the option for swatches is going to be there. Okay, it's going to be there. So we are just going to close this, or I'm going to close this. You may leave it on if you want. I don't need to learn. I don't need any libraries. Adjustment layer, I don't really need it. I can easily access it when I need it. So close. And then what we have left are the layers, channels, and paths. Yeah, I need these, so I'm just going to leave them. That way it's giving me more room to see the layers I have stacked upon one another. And that just makes working pretty more efficient. And so that is basically it. So here we have our work area, or workspace, I guess. Here we have our canvas, our canvas. Let me just, this is our canvas. This is plain. See, this checkered material you see there just tells you that it's transparent. You have nothing on it, and so if I produce this, it's going to be transparent. But I'll get to explain the transparency when we begin saving and opening new files. When we begin saving files. Now, as I explained, this is the foreground and background. Foreground is what's the color that is, foreground is the color that is before, in front, on top, and then the white under here is the color that is below. So in order to swap between, let me make this black. In order to switch between the foreground color and background color, hit the X. Okay, hit the X, and then it's gonna switch. Now the reason why, now the foreground color would always have the effect. It's the foreground color that is always going to make the change. For instance, let's still leave it and hit B for our brush tool, and then we're just, let me create a new layer so that I don't distort, and then we're just going to increase our brush size a little. Yeah, the softness is quite good. Yeah, good. So let's just say we want to, guys, you see what's happening. The foreground color over here is black, and so when I paint, it's black that is there. But say it were white, let's just switch them. New layer. Let's say it were white. Ouch, that's kind of too bright. Guys, you see it? And so if we also want to change the colors, hit it, push it to red. Guys, you see it? Want to black to gold to yellow, whatever it's called. Then sorry, made a mistake. And then I mistakenly hit the D. What D does is, for instance, what D resets it to the default foreground and background colors. So we hit X to switch them, we hit D to reset, or you could just click on this to reset. For instance, let me mess it up a little, and then so once we hit D, it resets. Okay, that is it. And so another thing I like to point out here is this over here. Now you see untitled. I thought we named this Okay, anyway, I think we didn't name it. Alright guys, so I had to reopen this particular, I had to recreate this file again, and then shit, actually let me just make this clear. New type. Good. This is what I would. You can't actually see what I wrote, but let me just put it on white. Good. So that you know that, so that at least you know that a layer exists over there. So now I want to explain this thing here. This over here is your projects, your file details. We have the name first. New Instagram, that's the name of the file, that's the name I gave to the file when we're creating it. At 25%, at 25% is simply at 25% at 25% is simply the percentage of zoom applied on it. Down here on the status bar it's at 15.65%. Over here is at 15.67%. I think it's a conversion to the nearest, and so we have it there. So if let's try zooming it to 100%. I'll just hit it. So 100%, this is the maximum size this particular canvas would allow you print this without any pixelation. For instance, let's try going beyond 100%. Do you begin to see, okay, do you begin to see some squares? I begin to see them. Okay, I think they should now be clear to you. So these are what we call pixels. These are tiny little, these are little tiny squares that come together to form the image. And so if you look at this section that has let's find somewhere the color is quite uniform. If you look at this section that is quite dark, when we zoom in, you're going to realize that it's not just black, but there are different shades of brown and black and gray all combined together to give you this blackish looking area. So guys, that is it. So that is pixels, and then that is also pixelation. And so you wouldn't this is something interesting. Let me show you something. Okay, when we get to smart objects, I'll explain that, but I just want you to know that, yeah, this is the name of the file, this is the amount of zoom applied on it. It's currently zoomed at 21.1%. This is the name of the particular layer you are working on, the Africa. I downloaded this image from Pixabay, so let's just call this cute girl. Yeah, she's kind of cute. So this is the name of the file you are currently selected on. We are in color mode, RGB, color channel, 8 bits. A star means it's not been saved yet. So let's just say we're going to try to save this file. Let's just go to desktop. Where's desktop? Example. I want to show. It's going to save very quick, 99%. Good. Now we don't have any star, so the star there means you have unsaved changes. So for instance, hit T to bring up my type 2. For instance, when I make this all caps, change it to, let's say, open sound, extra bold, and then I change it to let me see, to blue, that blue. I think white did a better job. Then I turn around and say type. In fact, you know what, let's reduce opacity a little. Let's make it see-through, 50%. So when we say type, you realize that the stars are back again. The star is back again, or asterisk, or whatever it is called, it's back again, just to tell us that no, you haven't saved, you have unsaved changes. And so that is it. This video is already quite long. Let's just run through the other ways of opening files. This has been creating a file and exploring the Photoshop interface, and then we may wrap up this video and see ourselves in the next one. So let's do it. Opening file. So there are a number of ways to open an existing file or open a picture. Okay, so let's say you have a really cool photo you want to edit. like this photo I like over here. Anyway, these aren't my photos. These photos I had from pixabay.com. If you go there, you're gonna get some amazing nice stock photos for free. They're for free actually. You don't need to buy any licenses and all those. So it's free. I'm going to leave a link down in the description below. You could go get them from there. So if you, let's say you want to open a photo you want to work on, okay, your photo you want to tweak it a little bit for a post on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. You could simply go to its location. This is one. So you could simply go to its location. That's a drag and drop method. Drop it beside the tab that is already open. Okay, drop it. It opens. It opens as a file in its own dimensions. So that means that if you look over here down in the status bar, the dimensions of this particular file are 1280 by 1920 pixels. Okay, at 300 pixels per inch. But this one is at 2000 by 2000. So this is what happens if you open if you drag and drop it into here, which says plus. Okay, putting it here says copy, which means it's going to open it, which means it's going to open the file as a standalone file. Okay, but once you put it here, it's going to shrink it to fit the dimensions of this particular one. But anyway, this one isn't shrink because this particular canvas is even larger than the dimensions of the photo itself. Over here it's 1280 by 1920, and over here we have this 2000 by 2000. One reason why I prefer working with the pictures disappeared because I didn't confirm the transformation. Good. So then you click that marker there to confirm it. So this picture is in its natural state. It's at 100%. This like its perfect resolution, and so everything is quite clear and nice. I really like this picture. I mean, the coloring, the color grading and everything, it's not the best, but it's nice. It's nice, you know what I mean. And then yes, so that is one way. Now let's say you want to open an already existing Photoshop document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. So now that it's closed, we're going to open the Photoshop file we just opened. So let's say you were working on something, got tired, or postponed it to work on it later, and then you came back. Now you need to access it again. Simply go to open. You go to the location in which you saved the file, which is that file is saved at desktop. Now you could either decide to choose all formats, so everything displays for you. Use all formats. It's way better. Then example.psd, click on it and click open. The file opens. Example.psd. You see as sweet and natural as it comes. So then if you also want to open a recent file you worked on, you could have just come here to open recent example. Remember, these are things we just opened in the last couple of minutes, hours, days, depends on the number of it. And that is it. That is basically it. I hope I'm being thorough. We are just running through this so that you get to just you're able to start something. You could also open as a smart object, but then I would have to teach smart object before for you to understand everything clearly. Not in this video. So guys, we're gonna wrap it up here, and then when we come back in the next video, we're gonna learn how to save files, save, export. Yeah, of course, it's just like your regular saving of documents in any other application, but there are certain things you should know, especially when it comes to save as. Okay, we're going to be looking at the various formats of saving documents or saving images. And then that is it, guys. Thank you for patronizing this course. Thank you for watching this video till this. So guys, let us wrap it up here and pick it up again in the next video, where we'll be looking at how to save or export your work. We're going to be touching more on the types of the formats in which you can save a particular document, especially Photoshop, especially for JPEG, PNG, PSD, PSDT, and PDF. Yeah, these are the common ones people use. And so guys, thank you very much for the love and support shown on this series so far. Thank you for patronizing it. Leaving a like on this video would really help me, and now I'm really grateful for that. I'd be really grateful if you left a like. If you're new to this channel and you'd want more videos, kindly hit the subscribe. If you're already an existing member of this channel, thank you very much for your dedication, for your loyalty, for your support. It really means a lot to me. And so guys, stay safe till the next video. Yeah, enjoy Photoshop.